Hey everybody, welcome to the second section of our creative map building series. Today we're going to make our maps even cooler than they are already. Last time when we were here, we made our general land mass by rolling dice and tracing the area where they landed. And since then, I decided to label the things that we made names for on the map. If you're going to do that too, I want you to make sure that you write them really small. But I thought about it and I think that's what works the best for me. Just make sure that you write them small so it leaves a lot of room for other things. I labeled in the water area, so I'd make sure I had room. So I labeled my country, which we named Azalea Land. I labeled my island, Petal Island. Now remember, you may or may not have an island depending on how you wanted that to go. And I labeled my sea, the Circadian Sea. So now my map is all ready to add more things. But before I can direct you on how to add more things, we need to learn a little bit of vocabulary. You may or may not know these things, but I'm going to share them either way. First things first, we need a compass rose. A compass rose, vocabulary. It shows the directions on a map. It's that little circle, usually a circle that you see in like the bottom right-hand corner of a map. And our compass rose is going to show the cardinal directions. The cardinal directions are north, south, east, and west. So once those are labeled on our map, it will be far easier for me to show you where to put things in our creative way. So I'm going to get a writing utensil. I have my cool box of Sharpies here. I love, love, love them. I suggest having more than one color today, but if you only have a pencil or a pen or only have one crayon or something on hand, that'll be okay too. All right, so for my compass rose, I'm going to choose purple. I want you to find space somewhere on your map, depending on how your dice or whatever you threw landed when you trace them. You might have room in different places. I happen to have room in the bottom right-hand corner of my map, so that's where I'm going to draw mine, because that's where they usually are. So I'm going to draw a circle, just like that, and I'm going to draw what I'm hoping is a symmetrical X or a symmetrical cross with arrows on each point, separating it. And then I'm going to get a different color, a darker one, and I'm going to label each arrow. N for north, E for east, S for south, W for west. Just like this. N for north, E for east, S for south, W for west. That's our compass rose. Now, you can make them really decorative. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do. If you want to look up some pictures of compass roses, there are actually some really pretty ones. I might decorate this later, but right now, for the sake of not making too long of a video, I'm gonna leave it just like that. So we have now made our compass rose, and on it, we labeled our cardinal directions. 2 vocabulary words down. All right, so the next thing that we can do is we can start to create some more things here. I've got my little dice. You can use absolutely anything, again, other than like a small ball or a marble. You're only gonna need one today. So let's see, I've got regular dice in here. You can use anything. You can use a coin, a little toy, the cap of your pen. Well, hopefully it goes a little smoother than that if you use it. But we are going to drop this dice on a random point on our mainland here. So you might have a great big mainland. You might have a small one. You might have a lot of little islands. Pick whichever one is your main country. Me, right here, this is Azalea Land. And I'm going to drop my dice onto it. Now, this is the kind of thing that happens with dice. It did not land on my paper at all. That's okay. I'm just gonna roll it on there again. And here it landed. Let me show you. Right where that is. I'm gonna pick the dice up. I'm gonna use my black. I like using black for this part. You can use whatever color you like. And I'm gonna put a star right where that dice landed. And this is all gonna make sense in just a minute. I put a star right there, see? And as soon as you've done that, you can put your dice away. You won't be needing it again today. Make sure you put it back where it goes, whatever you have, so you will be able to find it next time. Okay, that star is going to be our capital city. Does that make sense? Every state has a capital city. Countries have a capital city. So this is our country, and this is going to be its capital city. But we don't want to write the name right there, because that's going to take up a lot of space where we could be making some really cool stuff in later videos. You'll see what I mean if you don't get it yet. So the next vocabulary word that I have for you is map key. This explains the symbols on a map, and it saves room on the map. Right here we have a star. A star is a symbol. So now we need to make a map key so we'll know exactly what that star means. Just need another piece of paper, and I labeled mine Azalealand simply because I have a lot of pieces of paper laying around, and this will just show me what one this is exactly. So we are going to make a map key, which explains the symbols on our map, which saves room on our map. So what symbol did we use for our capital city? A star. So right here on our map key, we make a star. We know that that's our capital city. So right here, we are going to name it. I think I'm going to call mine Vine City. So there we go. Vine City, the capital city. Okay, so now you have your star, you have the name of your city, and that it is a capital city, the capital city. So this is going to be the biggest city in your country. And later on, when we write some stories about it, you can make some interesting things happen there. All right. So now when I give you these next directions, I really want you to think about the compass rose here. And we might have to wiggle around a little because everyone's capital city dice might have fallen in a different place, but we're going to make it work, okay? So look at your map, and to the north of your capital city, I want you to make a mountain range. First of all, let's talk about mountain range in case you don't know what that is. It's a line of mountains connected by high ground. So it wouldn't be a bunch of mountains separated by land. It's all the same, like on a plain or a desert. It's a line of mountains connected by high ground. Mountain ranges can be hard to cross. They're also very beautiful. If you Google mountain ranges, you'll find some really neat stuff. So we are going to make a mountain range to the north of our capital city. Now, I've got Vine City here, and I've got my compass rose, which tells me that north is this way. North is up on this map, okay? So I'm going to make my mountain range right here. Now, let's say that your capital city dice fell up here. You can move it slightly to the east or west, your mountain range, okay? It doesn't really matter where it is. We're just practicing our knowledge of our compass rose right now. So I'm gonna get another color. Let's see, I think I'm going to do brown for the mountain range. And I'm gonna use little symbols like this for my mountain range because those look like mountains. And I think I want a really big mountain range. So I'm gonna make a few of those. Now maybe you don't. Maybe you want a little one. Maybe you want yours to stretch from side to side more. Maybe you want yours to go from north to south more. Mine is gonna look like this. That's my, oops, I don't know why I made that one kind of into an A. There we go. That's my mountain range. So now I'm gonna go over to my map key so I don't have to write the mountain range on there and take up room where I would do creative stuff. Going over to my map key, and I'm making my, whoopsie. I tell you, I'm a mess today. I'm using the same color I used on the map. I'm using brown. So you'll see it's okay to make mistakes because that's how we learn. Thank goodness, because I make a lot of them. Okay, there. is my mountain range symbol, okay? Now, I'm going to name my mountain range. I think I'm going to call them the Majestic Mountains. And your name can be serious or it can be silly. What if you were making a whole country that was made of candy, right? So maybe your whole country is called Candyland and your capital city is called the city of licorice, and your mountain range is called Gumdrop Mountains. You could do that. It doesn't have to be serious. Mine sound kind of silly to me, but they're all kind of about nature and kind of fun. So that's going to be my theme. You don't have to have a general theme either. You can do it. You can do this any way you want to. It's all about being creative. So we're going to learn and be creative at the same time. So I've got the Majestic Mountains, and they are my mountain range. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to do a map key. So later you may learn different ways to do it. This is how we're going to do our map key, because I don't want to get terribly complicated in these videos, because I want us to be able to have a lot more time for the creative end of it. So we've got our two things labeled. So now you know, if someone wants to say, where's the capital city? They could look here on the map and see that. And then they could also look and see where the mountain range is. They correspond with each other. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, to the south of your capital city, I want you to draw what did I have to, I made little notes here so I wouldn't forget. I am very, very forgetful. A forest. Okay, so where's your capital city? And then you look over here to your compass rose. South is down, so somewhere down here is going to be a forest. Now, remember, if your capital city dice fell down here and there's no way for you to make a forest to the south, you can move it any other direction. It doesn't really matter where it is. We're just working with our compass rose because we can. So for the sake of a forest being green, I am going to use green. Let's see. Somewhere south of my capital city. I think I want there to be a big forest down here. And I think I'm going to use that as a symbol, like a little treetop, or maybe it looks more like a broccoli top. You could make a very small forest. You could make a very large forest. Your forest could be towards the middle. Your forest could be towards the coast. That's where the water meets the land. It's all up to you. Okay, I think this is about the size I want my forest to be. There we go. Okay, so there is my forest. It looks kind of silly, but you get the point, right? All right, so now we need to go over to our map key. Use the same color that you made your forest out of, whatever symbol you used. You might have used something completely different. You might be using polka dots or crisscrosses or something. Whatever you want to use is okay. All right. So I drew my little symbol. I know that's a forest. And my forest is going to be called the Forest of Flame. Forest of Flame. Make sure to capitalize because these are proper nouns. Proper nouns always have a capital at the beginning, like a name or a place, like a country or a state. Always have to have capitals at the beginning. Just a little note there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the east. And to the east, we are going to make a small town. So we started our capital city. And we look down here at our compass rose. East is right here. So you go east of the capital city. And we're going to make a small town there. Now remember, if you don't have room to the east, you can move it a little bit. So for the east, I'm just going to put a dot. Now you don't want to go boop and just have it be that because you won't be able to see it. So I'm going to put a nice heavy dot. And I'm going to put that dot close to the shore over here, close to the ocean, because I've got some ideas of what I want to do there. Boop, you see that city? Then you put the dot over here on your map key and you can name that city. Let's see, I made a note of what I wanted to name my little city, and now I'm not finding it. Ah, yes, that was it, Scale City. Now, if we were making a huge map, like if you look at any regular map, there's gonna be a lot of little dots, and all of those little dots would be cities with different names. For the sake of this, we're only going to have the one little dot, so you can label it right there, just like that, dot, Scale City. If you were going to have 50 or 60 different cities in this little country, you wouldn't be able to say that a dot meant Scale City on your map key, because a dot would mean any city, and then we would label it differently. But this is how we're going to do this creative map building. So just don't forget, if you learn later on the different way to do a map key, it's not wrong, it's just different, okay? Alrighty, let's see. So we've got a mountain range, a forest, we've got our capital city, we have another small city, and now we need something to the west. Look west on your compass rose, go west from your capital city, and west, I want you to make a lake. I'm gonna use blue for my lake. And I'm just simply going to draw a shape. It can be any shape that you want. Remember, this is imagination fueled. If you want to be the lake, you want lake to be heart shaped, that is totally okay. If you want it to be regular lake shaped, that is okay. I think I'm gonna go for a long and wide lake. I'm gonna put some lines across it like that, okay? There's my lake. Over here on my map key, I'm gonna show just a little blue blip with some lines on it. We'll know that that means it's a lake. And then we will label it. I'm gonna call it Looking Glass Lake. Okay, so now, let's see what we have here. We have Vine City, the capital city. We have the majestic mountains, a mountain range. We have Scale City, which is over here on the shore. We have the Forest of Flame down here. And we have Looking Glass Lake right here. Now again, if we were gonna make a bunch of bodies of water in here, we wouldn't be able to do it like this on the map key, because then people will go, well, which one is which? But for the sake of learning how these things work, we're just doing the one. So now, if someone was to say to me, oh, where are the majestic mountains? I could say, oh, the majestic mountains are north of Vine City. Or maybe I was taking a walk through the Forest of Flame and someone said to me, which way to Vine City? And I could say, north. See? So we've got this started here, and we're gonna get a little more into that as time goes on, but this is our start for the day. Now, I have one more thing I want you guys to add, and I have another vocabulary word, and I've got a little secret for you. This is one of my favorite words in the English language, and I don't really know why, but I love it. It is archipelago. You guys know what that word means? It's just a group of islands, archipelago. So, somewhere, anywhere in your ocean or sea, I want you to draw an archipelago, a group of islands. I'm going to use the same Sharpie that I used for the outline of my general land masses, and I'm gonna pick a place for my group of islands. So a group, let's go with 2 or more, okay? And it can be, gosh, you can make like 12 of them if you want to. It's really up to you. I'm gonna have mine right here, okay? I'm gonna have mine be to the east of Azalea Land, oops, and to the south of Petal Island. I'm just gonna draw some shapes in here. There's gonna be a couple medium-sized ones and a larger one, and then some small ones, and they go towards the land. Now yours can just be floating out there all on their own. or they can kind of reach towards your landmass, however you like that. Okay? So, I'm going to call these the Islands of Hope. And I'm going to label it right here, little bit. I might give them individual names later on. I might not. And it's okay to not know exactly what you're going to do in the end when you're writing a story or when you're doing something creative. Sometimes you just have to go step by step until you get there, one step at a time. Keep moving forward. And sometimes you have to skip a step and move on so you can see what will make sense later on. So right now, I'm going to name them the Islands of Hope, but I'm not going to name each island yet because I might have some creative ideas for those later on. Okay, guys, let's see. Our maps are looking cool. Take a look at your map. Are you happy with your map? I'm happy with mine. My map key is nice and neat, and I can tell where everything is, which is important. And let's see, we learned some new vocabulary words today. We learned compass rose, which shows the directions on a map, the cardinal directions on a map. We learned that cardinal directions are north, east, south, and west. We learned that a map key explains the symbols on a map and saves room. We learned that a mountain range is a line of mountains connected by high ground. And we learned that an archipelago is a group of islands. We're getting more and more creative with our maps, and I'm going to have some more neat stuff for you in later videos. But thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you had a good time, and I hope you're excited about what we're going to do next. I'll see you then.